homosexual faggot dipshit motherfucker. Fuck you, that's why. Cause fuck you, that's why. Cause helmets suck, that's why. And commies like you swallow, that's why. Fuck Pete Wilson, that's why. Fuck Dick Floyd, that's why.
How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the Liberty Bowl Weekend Edition. We are back here with our good buddy, the Swine. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share. Check out his channel as well, Liberty Swine. Link is definitely going to be in the description. So how you doing today, man?
I'm doing great, man. You know, enjoying the day off.
Right.
Just chilling, going over some content about yourself.
Shit, enjoying it, man. Enjoying this nice weather change that we're seeing here in the hot, sunny desert that is normally the desolate wasteland that is Arizona.
Yeah, and I just had, I don't know about you, I just had a surprise storm out here. It just started pouring, sunny.
Yeah.
Just started pouring nowhere, man.
Yeah, fucking felt like Forrest Gump, man. We done seen every type of rain day is. A little bit of stinging rain, some big old fat rain.
Yeah, it's there for sure.
All right. So today we're going to be talking about some new guidelines from Florida's Surgeon General, Dr. Joseph Ladapo. And he came out and basically, so there was a new study done in Florida talking about the potential death risks for people, was it ages 18 to 39 after receiving the mRNA vaccines. So we're going to go ahead and get into that one. And then I got a pretty funny story involving planes and psychedelics toward the end. But
yeah.
Before we get into that, you guys, let's go ahead and get into this.
Good. Wait.
Yup. All right. So, as we mentioned, the Florida Surgeon General came out and he actually posted his tweet. His tweet said, "Today we released an analysis on COVID-19 mRNA vaccines the public needs to be aware of. This analysis showed an increased risk of cardiac-related death among men 18 to 39. Florida will not be silent on the truth." And then, of course, links to the the actual, I don't know if you can see that with the Florida Health, and these are basically guidelines for the mRNA COVID-19 vaccines. All right, so I'll go ahead and read it for you just so we don't get any sort of strikes from YouTube. I'm going to go ahead and read the page verbatim. All right, so Florida continues to emphasize that healthcare providers renew all data to evaluate risks and benefits unique to each patient when determining any healthcare services to provide, including the administration of COVID-19 vaccines containing messenger RNA, which both the Pfizer, BioNTech, and the Moderna vaccines utilize. The Florida Department of Health conducted an analysis through a self-controlled case series, which is a technique originally developed to evaluate vaccine safety. This studied mortality risk following mRNA COVID-19 vaccination. This analysis found that there's an 84% increase in the relative incidence of cardiac-related death among males 18 to 39 years old within 28 days following mRNA vaccination. Individuals with pre-existing cardiac conditions such as myocarditis and pericarditis should take particular caution when considering vaccination and discuss with their healthcare provider. As such, the Florida Department of Health has issued the following guidances. Based on currently available data, patients should be informed of the possible cardiac complications that can arise after receiving an mRNA vaccine. With a high level of global immunity to COVID-19, the benefit of vaccination likely outweighed by the abnormally high risk of cardiac-related death among men in this age group. And then in bold letters, they got the state surgeon general now recommends against the COVID-19 mRNA vaccinations for males 18 to 39 years old. All right. Individuals and healthcare providers should also be aware that this analysis found males over the age of 60 had a 10% increased risk of cardiac-related death within 28 days of mRNA vaccination. Non-mRNA vaccines were not found to have these increased risk among any population. Oh, I'm sorry. Non-mRNA vaccines were not found to have any increased risk among any population. Floridians are encouraged to discuss all the potential benefits and risks of receiving mRNA COVID-19 vaccines with their healthcare provider. The risk associated with mRNA vaccines should be weighed against the risk associated with COVID-19 infection. The department continues to stand by its guidance for pediatric COVID-19 vaccines issued March 22nd, which recommends against use in healthy children and adolescents aged 5 to 17 years old. This now includes recommendations against COVID-19 vaccinations among infants and children under 5 years old, which has since been issued under emergency use authorization. And that is the end of it. So, what's your thoughts on all that, man?
My thoughts are, hopefully this doesn't get removed.
Right.
Well, I mean, obviously, you know, a lot of the things that everyone's been called conspiracy theorists and nuts and anti-science for over the past couple of years, this beast of a doctor is verifying out here for us, right? It takes a lot after the man who hired him, I'd have to say, handles the media in a similar fashion and seems beyond intellectual, man. Scary shit. I'm so glad that I preferred to stay pure blood.
Right.
You know, and it also verifies, like, I mean, you've seen the soccer players in Europe, right? These are young, healthy dudes between the first age group
Right.
you just mentioned.
Right.
But you know what I mean? And again, we got our fucking shit taken down for talking about this exact same thing.
Right.
But yet now it's in the news and, you know, it's like mainstream. It's maddening, frustrating, and horrifying.
Right. I mean, people's literal livelihoods were completely ruined. I mean, there's content creators that literally this is all that they do. They were stricken down by, the overlords at YouTube for, misinformation. I even technically have a strike on my account for misinformation. That was involving elections and things like that. So, but this is health concerns, right? This is involving people's literal lives. It's their literal health, right? Granted, I do understand there was a panic at the time. People were scared. There's information coming left, right, center, everywhere. You didn't know what to believe. I understand. Whether that was a created chaos or not, whether that was a planned chaos or not, it's beyond me, right? Conspiracy theories, whatnot, you never know, right? And they're never going to tell us. So either way, it's just going to remain a conspiracy theory until, some sort of, leak comes out or whatever. And we find out that it was, whatever. I'm not trying to get stricken down by YouTube, right? So anyway, yeah, basically they ruined people's lives over this. And then now, like they say, the difference between a conspiracy theory and the truth is about 6 months, and we're seeing that is becoming fact, especially literally the dominoes are just falling one by one by one. Everything that the conspiracy theorists said about this whole pandemic and the vaccines and everything like that, they, like I said, their livelihoods were stricken down at the beginning. Now they are becoming vindicated, and it's I don't even know if anybody's really receiving any vindication other than the fact that these types of channels and stuff are getting more traction now because there's the whole Streisand effect, don't watch those people over there. Those people are conspiracy theorists. Everyone's going to flock to that channel, That's the way that it's kind of went down, man.
Yeah, completely. It's insane, man.
And then again, too, just to kind of reiterate what it said there, it said, no to infants and children up to 5 and so on and shit like that, and then also again no to the 18 to 39, and it's so essentially, like we're saying, basically the elderly and people with other underlying health risks that respiratory issues could really kind of mess them up, but yeah, and so essentially everything that we were saying.
It's kind of saying the same about even the elderly. I mean, saying it kicks up the notch for men over 60, right?
Right.
I mean, and the reason that's going to be an isolated thing is because your risk is already through the fucking roof for that to happen anyway. They're like, we're just adding 10% more onto what's already cracking.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, I mean, it's an even risk across the board, man. I mean, basically, they're telling you, don't take the 1984, man.
Right. So I mean,
Don't.
essentially, moral of the story, if you think it's right for you, take it. If you think you need it, if you think you're at, some sort of specific health risk that outweighs the possibility of your heart, having conditions that might lead to death, then go ahead and, get your boosters, whatnot. Not saying don't get them. If you want them, that's on you. I personally am not going to, but ultimately, essentially, what all of us conspiracy theorists were saying at the beginning, consult with your doctor, do what you feel is right for you. These draconian mandates, things like that, completely un-American, completely, should not be in our nation, Yeah. But ultimately,
Man, not to interrupt you there.
Mhm.
One more thing to add to what you just said, but trust yourself, man. You
right,
know what I mean?
right,
People laugh at this like we'll get some leftists or something on here talking shit, bro. But trust your gut. I mean, if something inside of you is telling you run, I mean, no, listen. That's been ingrained in you for hundreds of thousands of years.
right. Don't follow the herd because they're generally walking straight into a slaughterhouse. I mean, think for yourselves, people. If I can make the decisions that are best for you. All right. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and smoke up real quick and get on to this great fucking story that I found. It's good times. So it's you probably don't have to guess that me and this guy here, we're no stranger to these psychedelic experiences, right? So it's especially mushrooms. Mushrooms are fucking good times, right? Again, make your own decisions, people. I'm not condoning. I'm not saying go out and fucking trip psychedelics, nothing like that. I'm just saying from personal experience, it's usually a good time. All right. So, man allegedly on magic mushrooms arrested after assaulting crew members on United Airlines flight. Don't worry, it gets better. A man allegedly on magic mushrooms was arrested after assaulting crew members during a United Airlines flight from Miami to Washington, D.C. on Tuesday, according to an affidavit filed in the Eastern District of Virginia. Approximately 1 hour into the flight, Cherui Logan Sevilla allegedly started wandering around the plane, running up and down the aisles, clapping loudly near the cockpit, and yelling obscenities. At one point during his outburst, Sevilla allegedly broke a small piece of plastic off of the bathroom door and opened it while another passenger was inside. Sevilla allegedly got into other passengers' faces and stared and smiled at them. The father and his daughter sitting near him, who were moved after he grabbed the daughter's arm, told investigators he wasn't right. The passenger refused to take a seat when asked by flight attendants, opting to lay on the floor instead. When one flight attendant instructed Sevilla to get back to his seat, he allegedly attacked her by grabbing and twisting her right breast. Fucking grabbed her titty and twisted it. All right, gave her a fucking titty twister. Passengers, flight attendants, and law enforcement officers aboard then jumped in to restrain Sevilla, who resisted but was eventually handcuffed. During the struggle, Sevilla twisted the arm of the second flight attendant, according to the affidavit. The out-of-control passenger continued to scream and yell incoherent things while handcuffed for the rest of the flight, according to the document. Law enforcement, including FBI special agents, responded to the aircraft upon landing, and Sevilla was arrested for assault within maritime and territorial jurisdiction, as well as interference with flight crew members. We'd like to thank our crew for handling this difficult situation with professionalism, said United Airlines in a statement shared with NBC News. We also followed up with our crew members to make sure they were okay. During an interview with the FBI several hours later, Sevilla said that he took psilocybin, a psychedelic known as magic mushrooms, at Miami International Airport before boarding the flight, authorities said. According to authorities, he also said he remembered being out of his seat, being loud, and touching people during the flight, and that this was not his first time taking psilocybin. Sevilla apologized for his actions. Sevilla was released on personal recognizance and is set to appear in court Thursday for a preliminary hearing. His attorney, Shannon Quill, did not immediately respond to a request for comment. That's one hell of a trip, right?
Right. There's no way in hell I would ever do that. Like you just said, I've tripped, quite a few times, and it would never happen on a plane, man.
Right, right. I for one, I've never personally been on an airplane myself, so I don't know. I mean, I could imagine I'd be kind of nervous, of course, but yeah, I could not imagine fucking taking psychedelics and hopping on a goddamn airplane.
No, I mean you're trapped. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I mean, I don't know with your grips you don't know, and you know when you're tripping how you look, man.
Right. Yeah, I remember there's one time that I was working at a food place, and I took acid before going into work, and bad idea, man, bad idea. That's the feeling of of course tripping, and then I mean normally when I would trip, I'd be in a good environment like a rave or at a party with friends, things like that. Doing it by yourself at work fucks with you, man, because you really forget the fact that everyone else is supposed to think that you're normal. You can't just be like, woo, like it's really hard to control those urges, especially when you see like some weird shit, like the food is turning different colors in front of you, like it's really hard to resist those urges. And like I did manage to make it through my whole shift, but it was not a fun time. But essentially I could just imagine, being in a similar situation on an airplane, Good times, man.
Yeah, I tripped at work one time too, and that's the only place I can remember ever really tripping where I wasn't supposed to be or whatever. But yeah, it was pretty intense, and my boss caught on pretty quick. and unfortunately, it was on a construction job site. I was 3 stories up, and he was like, "Dude, come down, man, come down."
Right.
Oh, man, that's the day.
Right, man. Fucking that's fucking liability.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, man. Good times, dude. Fucking. That's the definition of a bad trip in the physical and the mental state, right? Fucking
For sure.
Trip in Miami, wake up fucking handcuffed in Virginia. That's some good times, man. You got anything else that you want to bring up? Anything else you want to throw in, man?
Well, we got a clip. We have a Democrat that recently came on and told the truth, if you can believe that. It's an Obama holdover. Like I said, I'll send you the video right now.
Yeah.
And he's basically going to break down what's going on with the energy crisis. And I'm not going to say much more than that. I'm going to let the video explain itself. But I think you'll dig it, and I think everybody else will.
Fuck yeah, dude. For sure, man. Well, without further ado, man, we appreciate you guys stopping by. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share. Subscribe to the Liberty Swine channel. Don't forget to tip your waiter on the way out. Here's a awesome-ass video for you. Apparently, vindication.
Look, we made a mistake by canceling the Keystone Pipeline. We made a mistake by slowing down all kinds of permitting activity. We made a mistake by being hostile as a country to natural gas.
Don't forget to like and subscribe, bitch.